One summer moment can change a child's life. Through Toys for Tots Give and Go initiative, your support provides books, games, toys, and outdoor adventures that spark curiosity, creativity, and a love of nature. Whether it's fishing, learning a new sport, reading under a tree, or playing with friends, these moments build confidence and lifelong memories. For too many children, those moments never come. You can help change that this summer. Visit toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots, delivering hope beyond the holidays.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi!
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Alex Traiman. Alex, good afternoon in Israel. How are you?
Good morning to you in New York, Sid.
So you told me this morning you were great, but my daughter has spent the last 2 days in Tel Aviv getting no sleep and running in and out of bomb shelters. So what's really going on?
Well, let's say the last 14 hours or so, maybe. I think we got the first sirens going off towards Tel Aviv and Haifa last night, just around midnight, and then again early this morning. We've had 24 ballistic missiles fired from Iran at Israel since the first strikes late last night. But right now we're starting to get indications that maybe Iran wants this little episode to be over. And certainly we see a lot of posts from the president, interviews and Truth Social posts indicating that he wants this round to be over as well.
Well, he wants the whole thing to be over, but nobody cares what he wants at this point. Nobody loves the president more than me, but Iran doesn't care. Clearly, they don't care. It's 101 days, and no matter what we throw at them, they're not stopping. So there was also a report that Trump was going to call Bibi, and you remember during the Bush days, you guys were taking Scud missiles all the time, and Bush told you to just take it, and you guys did. You took it. The report was yesterday Trump was going to tell Bibi, just take it. Don't do anything about it. Don't retaliate. Just take it. Now, that's not Bibi, and I'm not sure if we retaliated or not, but there's no way the Bibi that I know is not going to allow anybody to bomb Israel and just take it. So it's a two-part question. A, did that conversation take place, but Trump told Bibi just take it? And B, has Bibi already responded? And if he hasn't, do you expect him to?
Well, I think we can be sure that Trump told Bibi that he didn't want him to respond, but I believe that it's clear at this point that Bibi told Trump that he was going to respond, and in fact, Israel has responded. There have been strikes early this morning on Iranian air defenses and on petrochemical facilities, which are reported to be used for creating ballistic missiles, whether that's creating the fuel, the solid fuel that could be used in ballistic missiles. Israel's already struck inside Iran. It's not the most serious of strikes. It's not a sustained air campaign, but it is a clear reminder to Iran that Israel can and will strike at top secret facilities with precision accuracy.
See, President Trump is so popular in Israel, deservedly so. There's been no president that's come close to being as good to Israel as President Trump has. Harry Truman is a way distant second. But, you know, these little back and forths with Bibi and the F word and now telling him just take it. Is there a chance that some of the Israelis are going to start to feel a little less love for President Trump?
Well, certainly Israelis are questioning what the president's doing right now. Israel felt like, we filed down Hamas so much, we filed down Hezbollah so much, we filed down Iran so much, but they still exist and they still have the capacity and the intent and the desire to threaten Israel. And Israel does want to finish the job. Netanyahu certainly wants to finish the job. So there's definitely the sense last night. I mean, there was the anxiety was not about whether Iran would fire ballistic missiles at Israel. Israelis were waiting for Iran to fire ballistic missiles. The anxiety was over whether Netanyahu would stand up to Trump in the face of these calls not to retaliate and to order the Israeli Air Force into action. And when he did so, I would say a lot of that anxiety in the country was immediately relieved. Now everybody waiting to see if there's going to be a return to war or whether this was just like a momentary explosion.
What do you think?
I think that what we've seen here is that this is like what we're calling like the ceasefire war, the stop-start war. I think that Trump may very well get a temporary pause in the hostilities, but it's clear that this war is not over. And so I do expect at some point you're going to see future rounds here, whether those are immediate rounds or whether there's a little bit of a break, even several weeks of a break. At some point, you're going to see Israel and Iran back at it.
So you're saying that the Israelis, and even look, I was all for Operation Epic Fury. I thought we needed it. You know, President Trump showed the courage that other presidents promised they would and didn't do it. So, you know, for all the criticism that's been levied against him, going in there was the right move. Bottom line is no nuclear weapon. They have provided all these terror proxies. They made them killing machines. So I was all for it 100,000% to go into Iran. But I'd be lying as the most ardent and supportive Trump supporter in the world if I haven't questioned this time and time again the last couple of weeks. And I've said on the air, I think we're stuck. And I'm not sure we had an exit strategy planned that was as good as when we started this thing over 100 days ago. So Israelis are asking the same questions, I guess, that I am, yes?
I think the president was hoping that the military Epic Fury campaign was going to somehow collapse the Iranian regime. And what we've seen here is that the regime remains standing because these are, terror organizations and the state sponsor of terror in Iran, that they go to the last man standing. You know, as long as there's somebody there to wave the banner, they will claim victory in a war, and they have not collapsed, even with the assassination of the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, from the first moment. And I think that Trump maybe got disappointed with that because he certainly doesn't want to be engaged in a war that lasts for 6 months, that lasts for a year. You know, this was exactly the opposite of what he promised the American people. So, you know, he pivoted to a strategy that would place a blockade on Iran, that would create a significant economic pressure on Iran. And there is a belief that the economic pressure could ultimately lead to the collapse. But again, here in Israel, you know, the feeling is that as long as that regime is standing, the victory has not been reached. And Israelis, you know, have been in war now for 2.5 years, are just not going to stand idly by while Iran seems to be the new tail wagging the dog here and taking over the reins of the tenor here since the ceasefire was declared.
That's all fair. So the International Policy Summit, which you guys put on, and I ran down the speakers, an amazing group, has already been postponed once, right? This was supposed to happen a couple of months ago, and it was right in the middle of the war, so you guys moved it now to next week. Are you having people contact you and say, boy, I don't know, Alex, they're firing missiles again? Has there been any response from from speakers who may not potentially come now?
Well, obviously, all of a sudden people are concerned, and rightly so. And our approach right now is that we really just need to wait. I would say even another 24 hours, we'll be a lot smarter as to whether this was an isolated incident or whether this is the beginning of a multi-week campaign. Obviously, if it's a multi-week campaign and the airport gets closed, that could force our hand. But if it turns out, in fact, that this was an isolated incident, and schools reopen and things go back to normal in the country, we plan to go full speed ahead with the summit.
Is Ben Gurion Airport open this morning?
The airport is open this morning. There was discussions about potentially closing it or potentially limiting the number of individuals that could be in the airport at any given time. But as of now, the airport continues to run at full scale operation.
And you, Alex Traiman, on the way out, New Yorker, living in Israel now for a long time, and you're the man, Alex Traiman, jns.org, but a diehard New York Knicks fan. Game 3, President Trump in attendance, Madison Square Garden, later on tonight. Are you keeping a good eye? I know these games are in the middle of the night for you guys. We've had these conversations. You guys are 7 hours ahead. So you won't tip off tonight until 3:45 a.m. in Israel. So odds are you're not going to watch this game live. I know that. But will you wait and then watch it when you wake up without knowing the score? What is the Knick fan? There's a lot of them. What are they going to do in Israel later on tonight?
The Knicks fans, they wake up. They want to check to see what happened. A lot of people here, watch those 10-minute full game highlights where you see every basket. You don't see all the misses, but you see all the baskets. And so obviously a lot of Israelis here come from Americans that have moved to Israel. They come from New York area, a lot of Knicks fans. But interesting that both Israel and the Knicks are concerned with what President Trump is going to do, where he's going to be, and what he's going to say. So I guess we'll be watching from a few different angles here.